Couple hiccups and starts. Let's go ahead and get started. So I am so excited for tonight, because this is a super personal one for me. Meditation and mindfulness used to be something that, I don't know, I thought I was like better than, which is so stupid. I thought I was too busy for it. I thought I didn't have time for it. And as I've learned more about it from a health and wellness perspective, I started learning about it because we had so many clients who were overstressed. And then it's funny, this is one of those weird things that I personally kind of like backed my way into. I started teaching clients about it. And then one day, this light bulb went off in my head and I was like, this is actually magic. Like maybe more than nutrition, maybe more than movement, maybe more than anything else we teach. Having a nourished mind and spirit, reducing your stress, mindfulness, and meditation is probably one of the most powerful things that we can do. So again, this is a workshop style. So please, have the chat open, drop questions in the chat. You feel free to interrupt me and ask questions. Our outline for tonight is we're going to go through the problem. So why meditation and mindfulness are something that we need to do. We're going to go through the solution. So what meditation and mindfulness actually do for our body. We're going to talk about what it looks like to create a mindfulness practice and give you guys some opportunities to actually kind of create one and think about what you might want to try for this week. And then sort of like our sleep one, we're going to end our time together by going through a meditation so that those of you on East Coast time, you can just drift right off into sleep. We'll talk about resources and all the details before that, so that you can kind of experience what some mindfulness meditation feels like. And if you haven't gone and watched our sleep workshop, I highly recommend and going and watching that, because that one and this one go together so beautifully. So we're going to start off with the problem, which the problem is stress. And this is an image from healthline.com that I think is absolutely brilliant. I love it. All of the things that stress cause in our body. So our bodies are not designed for chronic stress. Our bodies are designed for short-term acute stress that helps us run away from the saber-toothed tiger. And then we're away, and we're back to foraging and picking vegetables, and there's no longer stress. In our modern society, stress comes from absolutely everywhere: work, family, cell phones, computers, constant, stimulation, and it is causing massive issues. So here's kind of an overview of what stress is causing in our body. The CDC now says that chronic stress is more toxic than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. So the joke is, smokers are probably less stressed because they're taking like 10-minute smoke breaks every hour. And we could maybe learn something from them. Don't go pick up smoking. That is the wrong decision. But taking 10-minute breaks every hour can help us a lot. So here's what stress does. It causes headaches, heartburn, rapid breathing. It dramatically increases our risk of heart attack. It causes fertility problems. It causes erectile dysfunction. It causes missed periods. It causes muscle cramps, low libido, stomach aches. We actually now know that IBS, which is obviously one of our major specialties, is caused by stress. So there's a fun one for you. High blood pressure, high blood sugar. Our body's ability to regulate our insulin is damaged by high chronic stress. And we see a lot of type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes patients who report that they have really high stress, and we can actually see that from a physiological perspective. Weakened immune system. This is probably one of the most obvious ones. We would all probably say, when I'm stressed, I tend to get sick more often. That's a really easy black and white one. Insomnia, also probably an easy black and white one, right? If we're stressed, it's hard to sleep. And then an increase in depression and anxiety. That one's probably pretty obvious. Like when we're stressed, anxiety is high, but we also know that when we're stressed, depression is high. That's massive. Like, you guys, if we can reduce our stress, look at all the things that we fix. That's compounded by the fact that stress affects our sleep. So not only does stress affect our body, but stress often makes it harder for us to get to sleep at night, which then has all of these effects. So we have memory issues, mood changes. We now know that sleep deprivation is directly linked to anxiety, depression, and multiple different personality disorders. Again, weakened immunity, higher risk for diabetes, low sex drive, heart disease, poor balance. That's a big one, especially as we get older. If we have been dealing with chronic stress our whole life, balance becomes a bigger issue as we age. And if we can reduce our stress while we're young, It'll help. If we can reduce our stress while we age, it'll help. Weight gain, stress is one of the main causes of belly fat. Your cortisol produces belly fat. So if you're a woman, especially a postmenopausal woman trying to lose belly fat, meditation actually might be your solution more than a HIIT workout. Causes high blood pressure, causes accidents, causes trouble concentrating and thinking. So, if any one of these symptoms, either from this page or this page, is something that you're dealing with, stress and meditation and mindfulness are very likely a piece of the solution. So if those are the problems that stress causes, what is the solution? And the solution is meditation, mindfulness, and prayer. And I love this because you guys know I'm a science nerd. And so the science behind this is wild. So benefits for stress, benefits for sleep, benefits for productivity, and then just some really crazy cool benefits. So when we manage our stress well, it reduces our risk of illness and disease by 30%. And that's both acute illness, things like the flu, common cold, et cetera, but it's also chronic illnesses, cancer, heart disease, diabetes. This particular study, and I have all the resources at the end if you want to do a deep dive and you're a nerd like me. But this study looked at both acute and chronic, and the percent was the same, which is crazy. Dramatic improvements can happen in less than a month. So one study showed that in 10 days of meditation, it reduced stress by 14% and irritability by 27%. I don't know about you guys, but there are days when if I could reduce my irritability by 27%, I would be doing pretty good. 3 weeks of constant meditation increases compassion by 23% and reduces aggression by 57%. The state standard for anger management classes, I think this is crazy because usually state standards are like way behind the times, but anger management 4 years ago has implemented an entire course on meditation and mindfulness for people who are court ordered to go to anger management classes. That's science. If the state has adopted it, it's probably real because they're way behind the times usually. Meditation has longer lasting effects on reducing stress than vacation. This one for me was one of the pieces that made me go like, okay, I'm bought in. I'm going to try this. I learned this from one of my really good friends. His name's Mac Riallo. And I actually have a link to him later because he's an incredible human who I highly recommend you connect with. We're actually playing with the idea of bringing him into Live Nourished Coaching part-time, but this is one of the pieces that he pulled out of research. When I heard that meditation has longer lasting effects of reducing stress than a vacation, that was powerful for me. If I think about, sometimes how desperate I am to get away and realizing actually I can get away by going and sitting in my backyard for 5 minutes a day, it'll improve and have longer lasting effects than me taking a vacation. This one is really cool. 5 minutes a day improves our HRV. So our HRV is actually something we could do a whole other workshop on. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it today, but it's your heart rate variability. It's the difference in time between your heartbeats. So it's not your heart rate, it's the distance between heartbeats. And the higher your heart rate variability is, or the larger number of differences, like some are close together, some are far apart, that your heart beats, has a million different health indicators, which is really, really cool. And I wanted to show you guys this. So I recently got the Oura ring. It's a wearable. The only reason I got this ring instead of other rings is you can put it on airplane mode. So you don't have to deal with any EMFs. I love this thing. I'm obsessed with it. And this is what made me get it. So here is a picture. This is not mine. This is one I pulled off the internet. But this is a picture of someone who was kind of like going through their day. And then this is when they started meditating. And that's their heart rate. Like, look where it was. They started meditating to fall asleep. And this is what happened. Like, that's massive. We can drop our heart rate by that much just by meditating. I just think that's so powerful. Okay, so benefits for improving sleep. Harvard reports that 6 weeks of mindfulness and meditation reduced insomnia and fatigue. Mindfulness and meditation improves quality of sleep. So there's quantity and quality, right? We want to sleep for 7 to 8 hours, but we want that sleep to actually be deep and be able to get into REM sleep. And mindfulness dramatically helps with that. Mindfulness also calms our autonomic nervous system. That's the nervous system that controls our fight or flight. It's the one that causes stress and anxiety. Meditation improves our ability to be mindful and calms that ANS. It takes us from our sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight or flight, into our parasympathetic. Keeping going, productivity, who doesn't want to be more productive? And I think this, again, for me personally, was a big piece because just my personality, I'm like always productive, always must be doing something, keep going, push hard, blah, 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 blah. And when I learned that, oh my gosh, if I take 4 minutes out of my day, I can actually increase my productivity. That is so counterintuitive to who I am and my personality. And it is so real. Today, I took a 30-minute nap. I got more done in the hour and a half after that nap than I would have gotten if I didn't take that nap. So Detroit study shows that meditation improves productivity in the workplace by 120%. Guys, that's not like 50%. Can you imagine if you could get 120% more done than you got done today? Like, we'd get years back. It's crazy. Mindfulness training in the workplace proved lower levels of burnout. That one's pretty obvious. Meditation improves creativity, problem solving, and it gives us access to that flow state. You know, when we're working on a project and all of a sudden we've lost track of time and we're just kind of in it, meditation helps us get into that faster. And then this is where I get so excited. I think this is so cool. And again, all the links to these research articles are below if you want to read more on them. But meditation improves our relationships with others. It has the power to deactivate the harmful impulses we carry towards ourselves. I don't know why that's all caps, but that's pretty powerful. We as humans are our own worst enemies. The messages that we give ourselves, the negative self-talk, and sometimes that's hard to overcome when we just do it on our own. But the power of meditation can deactivate that, remove it. I think that's super cool. Management of pain. A study showed that a group practicing mindfulness had 44% reduction in emotional reactions to pain compared to a placebo group of 13% reduction. This was pretty wild. The pain that they put these people through was like shock therapy, massive pain, absolutely crazy. And this is what happened. And then they extrapolated this study to a group of patients who had chronic back pain. And with over 1,000 participants, they repeated this exact same data set instead of with induced pain with clients or patients who just experienced chronic pain. That's a pretty big deal. Like, we spend all this time trying to solve our knee pain and our back pain and our neck pain. And what if meditation is a piece of that puzzle? It increases immune function. This one I think is wild. It decreases and reverses aging. So telomeres are the caps that are on our DNA. So our DNA, or our chromosomes, have this little X. Then the telomeres are the caps that are on each side of them. We know of 3 things that increase the length of the telomeres. As we age, those telomeres get broken down. That's what causes aging. And we can pause or reverse the breaking down of those telomeres with Olympic powerlifting, super random, meditation, super cool. And oh my gosh, I say the 3rd thing all the time and I'm forgetting it. Olympic powerlifting, meditation. I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, meditation is one of the 3 things that lets us not only pause, but reverse aging, increases the length of those telomeres. So crazy. It increases fertility. And in one study, it decreased the tremors in a person with Parkinson's disease. That one I get so crazy excited about, because Parkinson's disease is one of those things that feels impossible. It feels irreversible. It feels like there's nothing can be done. And if meditation can fix that or even reduce the symptoms of that, think about what it can do for your IBS. Think about what it can do for your brain fog. Think about what it can do for the tension in your shoulders. Just so powerful. Okay, so are you guys sold that meditation is important? Are you guys bought in? I'm pretty bought in. Do you guys have any questions on any of those studies or statistics before we move on? Cool.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. Okay, so if stress is the problem and meditation is the solution, how do we do it? I've put together for you some resources, and this document barely scratches the surface. You know, meditation and mindfulness and prayer have been around as long as humans have existed, and you can take it as far as you want. I almost put a spectrum in this document and I kind of forgot about it. But if you think about the spectrum from over here, we never meditate, we don't do anything, to way over here, we are a Buddhist monk in the Himalayas. Obviously, that's a massive swing, massive spectrum. If we can get ourselves to here, like 1 inch in on that spectrum from not doing anything to doing something, we are going to reap all of the benefits of meditation. And that's one of the things that's so cool about meditation. Another one of these studies showed that going from 0 to starting meditation has 70% of the effects, like the positive effects of meditation, and going from 3 minutes to 10 minutes a day gets you to almost 100%. And for me, that's really encouraging, because sometimes I think of meditation of like, the Buddhist monk in the temple or the person who practices yoga all day long. And that's just not me. And it's literally impossible with my life. And so I can get discouraged by that. Well, meditation is really hard, or it takes a long time. It doesn't. If I can go from 0 to 3 minutes, I get 70% of the benefits. And if I can go from 3 to 10 minutes, I get 100% of the benefits. Like, I can absolutely do 3 minutes, and I can very likely do 10. So how do we do it? So I put together some practices for you. We're going to talk about kind of which ones are easier, which ones are a little more challenging, what resources you can use for each of these. And then again, at the end, after we do questions, I'm going to take you through a meditation that kind of combines these, but these are very easy to separate out. And we're going to kind of try a couple as we go through. So probably the easiest is a mantra meditation. A mantra meditation helps you focus your mind on the truth as you breathe. It gives you a specific word or phrase to kind of fill your mind with, so that you can help move other things out of your mind. I think a lot of times people think about meditation as completely emptying your mind. And that absolutely is a form of meditation, but it's not the only form. And it's actually only one form. Other forms of meditation, instead of trying to empty your mind, which can be really challenging, are simply filling your mind with the things that you want to focus on. So a mantra meditation that I really like, that I have started doing when my alarm goes off in the morning before I do anything else, is I breathe and I just say 3 times over myself, I am enough, I am loved, I am grateful, I am well. And I say that in my mind. Sometimes I say it out loud, but I just say it 3 times through. And even saying that, we're going to say it twice more. Feel free to say it with me if you'd like. I am enough, I am loved, I am grateful, I am well. I am enough, I am loved, I am grateful, I am well. That's it. Then I start my day. I don't even think that was 30 seconds. It was probably more like 15. And can you guys feel that like come over you? If you can, just drop me a thumbs up or like a yeah in the chat. It's so simple. It's so simple. I don't have to try to not think about anything. I'm thinking about something that I want. And the more that I speak that truth though for myself, the more I start to believe it, which is pretty cool. One study that is not in this article, but that I've read before, shows that we believe our own voice more than we believe any others. And so that negative self-talk is way more toxic than anybody else being mean. But on the beautiful flip side of that, our own positive self-talk is significantly more powerful than anyone else. Shayla, yes. Anna, yes. Heck yeah. Okay, so the next, I think easiest entry point to meditation is a simple breath meditation. Focusing on your breath helps you get out of the future, get out of the past, and immediately get into the present, and also get into your body, which is a huge piece of meditation, is that mind-body connection. And so observing your breath, there's millions. I mean, we could spend an entire workshop on breath meditation alone. I'm going to give you my 3 favorites. I wrote 2 of them down. But my first favorite is the 10-second breath. This is something that I give to probably all of my clients. If you're one of the clients that work with me, you've heard me say this, because the 10-second breath is something that you can literally go to the bathroom at work, and in the time that it takes you to use the bathroom, you can do this meditation. And so a 10-second breath is 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. And the reason we breathe out longer than we breathe in is because that exhale is what activates our parasympathetic, or the rest and digest, versus the inhale activates our sympathetic. So we're going to do 3 of these together. So I just want you to kind of blow all your air out. And then we're going to breathe in through our nose for 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How's that? Drop me something in the chat. Let me know how that was for you. That took us 45 seconds. You can absolutely pee in 45 seconds. And so that's such an easy one. If you're a busy mom, you can do that while you go to the bathroom. If you have a crazy job, you can do that while you go to the bathroom. You can easily hide somewhere in your office for 45 seconds and just feel how much power that has. I'm always amazed at how quickly it makes you feel a little lighter inside. Yeah, like 45 seconds. We just got 70% of the benefits. It's crazy to me. Playing with my Aura Ring, even just over the last couple 24 hours, I did that a couple times, and I literally watched my heart rate in 45 seconds. It's up here doing this, and it goes, and then it comes back up when I'm done. Like, wild. Even with the mantra one too, just saying I am healthy or healing changes your outlook so much. Yeah, Anna, absolutely. Michelle, love it. Yes. So powerful.
Can I throw something in real quick?
Please.
So I use 4-7-8 sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8. And one of my clients who's been doing this for a while to help when he wakes up in the middle of the night and gets anxious, is unfortunately currently hospitalized. But in doing 2 cycles of 4-7-8, I watched his heart rate, because he's on telemetry, watched his heart rate drop 8 points.
Holy cow.
In 2 cycles.
That's wild.
Yeah, powerful.
So powerful. Michelle, that's really cool. That's an amazing testimony. I mean, you guys, that encourages me so much. This is so achievable for us normal people. like Michelle's client did 4-7-8 breathing twice. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8, 2 times. And that happened. I can do that. Like in my crazy day, I can do that. Another one that is really similar to what Michelle just shared, that 4-7-8, is box breathing. So you just think about breathing around a box. So you inhale 4, hold for 4, exhale 4, hold for 4. Same thing, do that 3 or 4 times. Another one that I don't have on here that I've built into kind of our closing meditation is breath light breathing. So I like to imagine, I start to breathe in and I watch my breath fill in my chest, and I watch it kind of like a golden light. It's one of my favorite visualizations. And so as I inhale, I watch it expand. And as I exhale, I watch it contract. And I just do that for long enough that eventually it kind of encompasses my whole body. It usually takes me about 2 minutes to kind of go through that visualization. That's one of my favorites as well. Another really easy entry point is a body scan. So a body scan is a meditation technique. Again, it gets you out of the future, gets you out of the past, puts you immediately in the present, and helps you get into your own body, helps you notice what's happening in your body and just scan your body. We're going to do this as part of our kind of practice meditation. But what I like to do is I like to imagine a scanner, or I just kind of scan down my body. And so I think head, eyes, shoulders, arms. I just slowly go down and I notice what I feel. And then I also notice, where tension is. I'll go, oh man, there's tension in my shoulders. And so I just go, and I kind of breathe that out. And I go, okay, like biceps, triceps. Ooh, there's some tension there. And I just slowly go through my body. That one takes me a little longer. That one usually takes me 3 to 5 minutes. But again, super easy entry point. A special place meditation. Again, this is a super easy one that you don't need an app. You don't necessarily need anyone to guide you through. You can combine this with a breath meditation or a mantra meditation, but all this is picturing a special place in your mind. It can be real. It can be a real special place, maybe a childhood place or somewhere that you've been on vacation, or it can be imagined. It's a beach or a beach house or a hammock in the mountains by the lake, just somewhere where you feel safe and that feels really tranquil and peaceful. and you close your eyes and you breathe and you go there in your mind. And then there's so many things that you can do there. You can, imagine what it looks like and listen to the sounds and feel the air and smell the air. It just gets you present. Or you can go there and you can imagine talking to God there. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's just such an easy one. Or you can just go there, just go to your special place and be there for a couple minutes and then head on back into your day. Super easy one that doesn't require any fancy technology, any apps to guide you, just a really easy one to visualize yourself going there. If you've ever done a special place meditation or you have a special place, I'd love for you to drop it in the chat, and I'll work that into our practice here at the end. Visualization or a perfect day meditation. This is a great one to do in the morning. But for this one, what I do is when I start my day in the morning, I visualize what a beautiful day would look like. So I picture myself getting up and making my tea, sitting out in the sunshine, doing my stretching. I picture myself, being present and open to the people in my life. I picture myself being kind, maybe to a hard person who I am going to have to interact with my day. And I just kind of walk through my day in my mind. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes I do it for a little longer. And I come out of that and it usually sets me up for the day really well. Is my day going to go that way? Probably not. But having set myself up for that in the beginning, my day usually goes pretty close to it. It's fantastic meditation. If you read any of the kind of high habits of highly effective people, those kinds of books, this is one that all of those teachers talk about. Every single one of those high performance habit people encourage you to have this one particularly as part of your morning routine. A resource for a devotional meditation. A resource can be a book or a daily devotional where you read a little chunk of something. And I haven't ever tried the perfect day meditation. I'll have to give it a go. Yeah, I tend to imagine everything that could go wrong instead. Anna, me too. Totally. And that's partly why the perfect day meditation is so beautiful, because it sets us up to look for the good in our day. And there's a whole bunch of science behind that too. If you ever want to read, habits of highly effective people, or Shayla literally just went, Brendan Burchard has a great book on this. It's fascinating. Again, that one thing could be a whole workshop. Maybe we'll do that one day. Highly effective habits. Anyway, resource or devotional. So, using an app to guide you through a meditation. I have a book that I'll tell you guys at the end that I've literally used every day since 2019. It's a meditation for kind of independency, self-love, and overcoming codependency. And so I read that every day, and it has a little thing to focus on at the end. And I like to turn on a song for 3 minutes because that helps give me kind of a time frame around what I'm doing. And I focus on that, and then I go on into my day. Christian devotionals are also an awesome one for this one. There's a ton, a million. But knowing that you have resources and that you don't have to do this alone, I think is really helpful. And then prayerful meditations. I love Lectio Divina. Ooh, cool. So Michelle says, I have Lectio 365. You can read and listen to it. Cool. So these are meditation practices that are more rooted in faith and Christian faith. There's, again, a million. I picked out 4. So Lectio Divina, that Michelle just threw in here, is a really good one. Shayla says, what is a good app for Christian devotionals? Shayla, you sent that to me directly instead of the chat. It's a great question. There is one called Abide, ABIDE. It's okay. It has good Christian devotionals. I haven't loved it because they have like ads for their own product at the beginning and the end, which for me kind of pulls me out of the thing. Like I'm doing my my devotional, and then all of a sudden there's like an ad for this thing. So that's one. Abide. And then there's another one called Glorify. That's pretty good. I've just found a podcast that's 40 Days of Lent, and obviously it's not Lent, but their meditations are great. So I can throw that in the chat as well. Lectio Divina is one that I really like because you can do it by yourself. Sounds like Michelle has an awesome app, which I'm going to try. But Lectio Divina is basically picking a passage of scripture. It can be a whole chapter, or it can literally be a line, and you read through it 3 times. The first time you just read it, The second time you read through it and you pay attention to what words stand out or how you feel or what it kind of feels like. And then the third time through, you ask God what he wants to highlight. And it's a beautiful way to kind of slow down instead of just whipping through scripture or whipping through whatever you read. I love that one. Centering prayer is a great one. It's basically a mantra prayer, but things like, I like to go, Abba, I belong to you. Abba, I belong to you. I also love the Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven. That's the one that Jesus gave us. It's a 18-second children's prayer, and it will bring me back to center immediately. So that's a great one. The prayer of examine, again, super easy to Google. It's created by St. Ignatius of Loyola thousands of years ago. But it's an end of day practice where basically you go through and you kind of examine your day, and it's super simple. It's super easy. It's a great kind of meditative process. And then contemplative meditation, which can be a faith-based practice, a prayer practice, or it can be just a regular meditation practice. But it's an approach that involves silent meditation and contemplation and seeking an open heart in God's presence, or just an open heart and seeking the guidance or specific words or thoughts. So, sitting, quieting yourself, quieting your mind, letting go, and letting what comes come. Anna says, I love Psalm 139 for that. Yes, that's a good one. Anna, I'm writing that down. I might do that tomorrow. That's a great idea. 139. Thank you. I love workshops. I get stuff out of it too. So those are some really easy entry points to meditation. And then some other additional meditation practices that are less kind of structured are using gentle music, putting some calming music, some calming piano on in the evening while you fold laundry. That can be a meditative practice. And I have proof because I've done that, and my Aura ring shows me that I'm meditating. Gentle stretching and mindful movement. This is one of my favorite things to do in the morning. I get up, I get out in the sunshine immediately, and I move my body however it feels good for 5 minutes. Walking can be really meditative and you can get the same benefits. Journaling is a great way to practice meditation that's maybe a little bit more active. Michelle says, I love Tim Janis on YouTube. Awesome, Michelle. I don't know him. I'll have to go look him up. And then gratitude practices or gratitude lists. Finding gratitude, writing out a gratitude list in your journal are all great, easy entry meditation practice. Oh, calming music. Cool. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. So here's where we kind of get to think about what it might look like for us to meditate, for us to implement some mindfulness into our days. And so here's sort of my best tips for getting started. And then we're going to workshop this a little bit. We're going to talk about some resources, and then we're going to close with practicing. So I like to view meditation as an experiment. My own personality might be different from me. I tend to go in and go all in hard. And then when something doesn't work, I quit altogether. And so experiments for me have been a really helpful thing to help me try things, because I can say, instead of going all in, I'm going to meditate every day for the next 40 days, I can say, I'm going to try breathing in the bathroom 3 times a day for 7 days. That is way more doable for me. And if it doesn't work, it was an experiment. And so I can try something else. And if it does work, I can celebrate that and I can keep doing it, or I can add something else on. So for me, anytime I'm making a habit change, and this for me goes for nutrition, it goes for movement, it goes for mindfulness, but viewing it as an experiment takes all the pressure off of trying it. Starting with 1 to 3 minutes a day. Again, 1 to 3 minutes gives us 70% of those amazing benefits. If we can get to 10%, we get 100% of them. And so going from 0 to 70% benefit is pretty good. So doing something 1 to 3 minutes a day is super doable, super approachable. Giving yourself a conducive environment. You can go as far as putting oil in a diffuser and dimming the lights and making yourself a cup of tea and cozying up in your chair with your favorite blanket. Highly recommend that. Do it. And it can be as simple as leaving your cubicle at work and going and sitting in the bathroom for 10 minutes or for 2 minutes or for 45 seconds, like the breathing one we did before. But getting out of your cubicle, if you're in your cubicle doing work, or even for me at my desk, someone can come in and interrupt me. I might feel weird sitting there with my eyes closed. It's just, I'm aware of everything that's around me. And so creating a conducive environment fully all the way, or just finding a space. My car is also a fantastic place to meditate. Like I'll often come home and sit in my car for 5 minutes before I go in my house and just take a moment to kind of gather myself. Use resources to help you. You don't have to figure out how to do meditation on your own. There are apps, there are books, there are all these things. Choose an option that sounds most approachable for you. So, if doing the body scan sounds really doable, start with that. If the special place really pulls you in, start with that. If visualizing your perfect day terrifies you and feels super overwhelming, don't start with that. Start with a mantra or something that really feels doable for you. And then expect your mind to wander. I think this is maybe one of the most important things. And one of the things that I run into with clients often when we're kind of starting a meditation practice is, they'll try it for a week and they'll come back and be like, well, I probably made it like 30 seconds and then my mind was off into something. That's totally fine, normal, and expected. If that didn't happen, I would either tell you that you need to go become a Buddhist monk because you clearly have an unbelievable supernatural talent. Or I would tell you that there's like maybe something wrong with your thinking because our minds are full of stuff and your mind is going to wander. And so as you get started with mindfulness and meditation, if you just expect your mind to wander, you didn't fail, nothing went wrong, you're not off track. When you notice it, you just go, oh, I was doing a body scan and I got to my hips and now I'm thinking about my grocery list. And I just kind of gently bring it back and go, okay, now I'm going to move down to my legs. When you notice, you just bring it back. And in our guided meditation, I'm going to kind of model that for you. So we're going to pause here. I would love to hear from you. You guys can either put it in the chat or you can unmute, ask questions, etc. But I would love to hear from you guys 2 things. 1, what does your mindfulness or meditation practice look like right now? And if that's 0, I don't have one, that's a perfectly acceptable answer. And what is something that you maybe want to try to implement for the next 7 days having come to this? So you can drop it in the chat or you can unmute. And if you guys have questions, this is also a great time.
I think it's quicker to talk. So my current meditation practice, most mornings I do the Lectio 365, and their thing is pause, reflect, rejoice and reflect, ask, and then yield. So they walk through prayer. And so there's a scripture passage. And anyway, and they always ask an insightful question and help you to think globally and stuff like that. So that's super cool. And that it's usually about 10 minutes.
Oh, cool. That's a great
So
time.
while I'm listening to that, I have a very specific stretching routine that I do. And so, because in the beginning, it's basically stilling yourself to spend this time with God. And so in that quiet, I'm like, right, he's on my right. And I do a spinal twist to the right. He's on my left. I twist to the left. He goes before me and I lean forward. And as I'm leaning forward, I'm also thinking, and he's my rear guard. And so I'm doing like a meditative prayer process, even in the quiet parts of their prayer. So
that's beautiful. Michelle, I might borrow some of those things. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, no problem.
That's a great
like
tip.
I signed up for this because I'm always interested in what other people are doing too. But like I take pieces of this and add it to that and like blend things together. Because so many people don't they're like, I can't sit still that long. It's like, okay, well, if we make it a meditative movement to begin with, and then add in a word or a phrase or whatever. And so I kind of build from movement first because most people do better being able to move.
Yep. Yeah. I love that. Michelle, that's awesome. Walking fits into that too. Coming back to kind of those alternatives, like you can go for a walk and practice gratitude at the same time, practice breathing at the same time. Like you don't just have to sit still. I'm really similar to that, Michelle. Like I can sit still and I'm learning to do that. I'm cultivating that because I want to, but you don't have to start there. Like walking was the first place that I kind of learned to get my mind centered. I think that's brilliant. Anna says, I would say right now it's pretty non-existent. It's been a tough season. I get that, girl. I had been doing breathwork meditation, but I think I would like to try the mantra meditation or the prayer one with a passage. Yeah, absolutely. To give you an idea, one thing that's really helped me, for a while, I totally had the intention to meditate and practice mindfulness, and my habits just weren't set up to do that. Like I got up and I made breakfast and I was immediately into my day. And then, it would be 5 o'clock and I'd go, oh, like I meant to meditate this morning and I didn't. And so one thing that's helped me is a tool called habit stacking. And so it's taking a habit that I already do, like, for example, brushing my teeth. This is how I got my outside piece together, is when I brush my teeth, that's something that I'm going to do every morning. It is already a fully ingrained piece of my habit. While I'm brushing my teeth, I'm going to walk outside into the sunshine. And that was a really easy habit stack. And then from there, I stacked on, okay, now I'm outside. Now I'm going to set my phone timer for 5 minutes and I'm going to move for 5 minutes. And so I can kind of habit stack. So Anna, when you're in a hard season, picking something that is already part of your day, and it can even be a negative trigger, like, gosh, I don't know. Anytime you get a text message, before you look at it, you go, not that a text message is a negative trigger. Or like anytime the baby cries, I do 3 mantras before I respond. But habit stacking is really helpful. Michelle, I want to try the visualization of my perfect day. Totally. Yeah. Anna, was that helpful at all?
Okay. I love you.
I noticed how like what stood out to me was right now part of my meditation is like prayer at night, but then like my mind starts to go wander and then I feel guilty because I'm like, I didn't finish my prayer and say amen, Jesus, So I think just having more grace for like that's my meditation and just gently revert back to like my original prayer.
Yep, totally. Yeah, Shayla, that's so good. Expecting your mind to wander. That happens to me all the time too. Like I'll start to pray and then I just get distracted. But when we expect that, we're like, oh, yep, that just happened. Okay, cool. Where was I? It makes it easier.
Yeah. All the other meditations too that you talked about. I didn't know that there were so many.
So many.
Could choose from.
Yeah, and this is like barely scratching the surface. I mean, yeah, we have a year's worth of options here, and we're like just touching base, which is kind of cool.
Well, I was going to say, this is Robin. I was going to say, it's funny that you said what you did, Hally, about the stacking, because I was going to say that I loved how Michelle stacks up her stretching, her prayer, and her mindfulness all at the same time. Yes. So I think that's great. My, let me see. My mantra typically is, I am kind, I am courageous, and I am capable, is what I typically say. And I do meditate, but I'm kind of like you, the nerd. I like all the stats and the numbers. So it was good to see this because I plan on implementing the consistency because my thing is at the end of the night before I go to sleep, I jump in the jacuzzi for 10 minutes and I just throw on, I have the little Peloton meditation app. And they have all the different ones. They have the body scan. And I seem to like right now just the acceptance because different things are going on in my body that I have no control over. So it's like, okay, it's all okay. I'm just going to breathe and get through it and stuff. So, and I find it helpful that my Apple Watch in the morning and at night has the breathing reminder, and I'll just take 10 breaths there. And that seems to help. But I will say 2 things. One, my husband and I went on a cruise, and it was funny because there was a husband and wife that were both doctors. And the husband said, my wife told me to start meditating and I just didn't do it forever. And he said, and then I started meditating 5 minutes in the morning before I started my day. And he goes, what do you know? A month later, people were coming up to me at the hospital saying, you're so nice now. What happened to you?
No way.
Whoa. Said, oh my gosh. And then I did discover that, on a side note, if you, I have meditated on a plane for like Southwest Airlines and nobody wants to disturb me. So nobody sits next to me when I'm meditating and my eyes are closed.
That's actually a brilliant idea. That's awesome. Man, Robin, there were so many gems in there. Thank you. I mean, so encouraging. So encouraging. Such a beautiful way to practice that. And I got to steal that one for the plane. Yeah, seriously, that's brilliant for Southwest.
Yeah, I just need to work on the consistency of every day. That's kind of hard.
Yeah, the consistency. You have the Apple Watch, which I love. Using a wearable. Does Apple
Yes.
Watch track your HRV at all?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
Look and see if it does. If it doesn't, look at your heart rate, just kind of your beats per minute. And that's kind of a fun data point to just see what happens. Like do a meditation and kind of watch what happens is kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Michelle, I usually box breathe during takeoff and landing. Love it. Any other thoughts for how you guys want to try to implement, or a commitment that you want to make, or thoughts or what stood out to you before we move on to resources? And then we're going to close with a practice. You guys, this is fun. Thank you for joining me in this process. I love learning from you guys. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple resources. We're going to do this now because just like the sleep one, for our last one, we're just going to close it off with meditation. And if you want to just fall asleep and head off, you can. So here's some resources that I really love. This is, again, not even close to an exhaustive list of resources, but it's some that I really like. Great apps, the Calm app, the Aura app, the Headspace app, the Insight Timer app. All of them are awesome. They all have free versions, and then they all have in-app paid purchases. So pick one, try one, see what you like. My current favorite right now is the Insight Timer, because of the versatility in it, which is really cool. This is my really good friend named Mac Riallo. He is truly an amazing human. He has taught me so much about meditation. And if meditation or mindfulness feels, just challenging for you, or it feels maybe unapproachable, or you're just not sure where to start, he does like personal consults through his business right now for $50 because he's just starting. So he should be charging so much more, but he's not. And if you tell him that you came from me, I think he gives you a discount as well. But hop on with him, book a call with him. It's so worth it. Like I wish he was on this call with us, because I just, so much of this wisdom that I've shared with you tonight comes from him. But that is a fantastic resource. Book a call with him. He'll help you create a meditation practice. And then of course, utilize your coach as well. Some resources for creating a conducive environment. This is one of my favorite calming evening piano Spotify playlists. Again, if you click on any of these, you'll get the link. Pink Himalayan salt lamps give plenty of light to see, but they create that kind of calming environment, which I really love and like. This is the book that I've literally used since 2019 for my morning meditations. I absolutely love it. Give me 2 seconds to yell at my. Okay. It has a little daily reading and then a little thing to focus on, and I love it. And then with Rhythms of Renewal, this is an incredible book that kind of guides you through not only creating mindful rhythms for the day, but then also doing things like a quarterly inventory and kind of backing up and taking space to look at your life. If anxiety is something that you deal with, I do not have a book that I recommend more highly. This one is incredible. For me, first time I read that, I listened to it driving to and from hunting camp. It was a 3-hour drive up and a 3-hour drive back, and I binged it in a whole weekend. And I've since read it 2 more times. So highly recommend. And then oils are an incredible meditation tool, because our olfactory senses circumvent our prefrontal cortex, that part of our brain that makes us think. And so it can immediately dump us back into mindfulness if we practice. So if you get an oil, it can be anything: lemon, frankincense, eucalyptus, like literally anything. It doesn't have to be specific. But if you breathe that oil in when you're starting any of your meditation practices, even if it's, simple 10-minute breaths or whatever you choose, if you link that oil, that smell, to that meditation practice, and you practice that a handful of times, from there, just smelling that will put your body immediately into rest and digest, which is such a cool, powerful tool for those of us who have squirrel brains and just, think a million thoughts a minute and can get sidetracked. Having a smell linked to that peaceful state, even if we don't have time to meditate, or we're like way too wound up to meditate, that smell will drop our body into that meditative state immediately if we train. So I love putting a diffuser on. I love using oils. This will take you straight to this particular kit, which is designed for mindfulness. And I think it's awesome. Anna, this is fun. I've enjoyed this. Would you say that meditation is mostly just the practice of being present? Yep. It's mostly the practice of getting present, getting out of the future, getting out of the past, and getting into the present right now. Oils seem to be able to bring you back to the present 100%. So these are my favorite resources. Anna will send these out. So you can just click the links straight to these, or of course you can Google them. But these are great resources to help you get started. And then if you want to do a deep dive on all the things I've shared, these are all the articles that I pulled from for today. So incredible resources. And then of course, connect with your coach, talk to your coach about building a mindfulness, meditation, and prayer practice in a way that works for you. And we are going to close out with a practice. So we only have 7 minutes left. I'm going to go over by about 2. If you need to jump off, feel free. But I really want to encourage you guys to get comfortable. You know, if you're in bed or it's nighttime, lay down. If you're going to go do something after this, maybe stay seated, but we're going to do 5 minutes. And at the end of the call, I'm just going to send you off into your night. So if you want to use this to go to bed, you can. Before we do that, do you guys have any questions? Because I don't want to end with questions, so I can just end you in a beautiful place. Cool. Okay, so we're going to blend together a couple of these practices so that you can experience them and you can kind of see what they're like. So I want you guys to go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to breathe all your air out. Breathe in for 4 seconds, filling your belly first. Breathe out for 6. Do that one more time. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 6. And then return to your normal breathing. And each time you inhale, I want you to picture a ball of golden light, like a star or the sun, that's kind of encompassing your lungs. And each time you breathe in, I want you to watch that ball expand. And as you breathe out, I want you to watch that ball contract. And each time you breathe in and let that ball expand, let it expand just a little bit further and contract. Maybe this time it expands to encompass your neck and your hips, and let it contract. Maybe this time let it expand to cover your arms and your legs, and contract. Take one more breath. Let that ball encompass your whole body. And then this time, as you exhale, let that ball just continue to expand so that you are suspended in this bright, life-giving light. Take a couple more breaths. Let your breaths return to normal. And then I want you to picture a place that you love to go. Somewhere peaceful and quiet, where you feel happy and at peace. Maybe it's a hammock in the woods, or a blanket in a field of wildflowers with the sun on your face. Maybe you feel most at home by the ocean. Wherever you land, I just want you to start to look around. And if your mind is having a hard time landing on a place, just notice all the places that you're bouncing. Maybe you have multiple safe spaces and you are going to get to explore all of them. Wherever you are, what's the temperature? Is it warm? Is there a breeze? Notice what the air feels like. Notice the sounds around you. Maybe there's birds chirping or the whoosh of waves. Then I want you to notice what you can smell. Maybe you smell that cool, earthen smell of the forest, or maybe it's that light saltwater air smell of the sea. Maybe you even smell your favorite food or your favorite dessert cooking. Breathe that smell in. And as you breathe out, let it wash over your entire body. From your head down to your shoulders. Keep breathing in, and each time you breathe out, let that beautiful, peaceful smell wash over you. Down to your stomach and your hips. Down through your legs and your knees, your calves, your feet, and out your toes. Let it wash down your neck and down your arms and out your fingers, taking with it any stress, any thoughts. If you find your mind has wandered, just go ahead and bring it back to the space, to this safe space that you love. While you're there, feel what you feel. Feel the support of the ground that you're sitting on or the chair that you're sitting on. Feel it lifting you up from beneath. Maybe you can feel the leaves or the breeze or the sand. Just notice which parts of your body are touching this space. Maybe you need to wiggle a little bit to get a little bit more comfortable. And then take a look around this space one more time. Smile. Take one more deep breath. Let that ball of light that has encircled your body contract. Come back to center. And let that peaceful feeling wash over you. And if you're ready and you would like to come back, go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if you're ready to drift off into peaceful sleep or to have this start your evening routine, feel free to stay right here, snuggle down into those blankets, and have a deep, peaceful sleep. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. It means so much to me to see you all here. Thank you for participating and being part of this journey. It means so much to me. Thank you for being part of our Nourished community. I hope you have a beautiful, restful night. Feel free to drop any messages in the Facebook group or shoot them to your coach so that we know what this was like for you. And I will see you all soon. Good night. Thanks, Anna. You're welcome, Shayla.